Pakistan, a land of contrasts. Here, the world's mightiest mountains touch the sky, glaciers carve deep valleys, and a great river nourishes millions. A country blessed with fertile fields, endless deserts, and bustling cities. Yet this land, this fragile beauty, faces a storm greater than any in its history, the storm of climate change. Though Pakistan contributes less than 1% of the world's carbon emissions, it stands among the nations most vulnerable to climate catastrophe. This is the paradox of climate injustice. And yet, within this crisis lies an opportunity to reimagine, to rebuild, and to rise stronger. In 2010, flood waters swept across Pakistan, drowning villages, destroying homes, and claiming more than 1,700 lives. More than 20 million people were displaced, a disaster of almost biblical scale. Just 12 years later, in 2022, the country was struck again. Monsoon rains, intensified by climate change, unleashed chaos. 33 million people, 1 in 7 Pakistani, were affected. The damages exceeded $40 billion. For those who lived through these events, the numbers are not statistics, they are scars. And yet, even as waters receded, life returned. Fields were replanted. Schools reopened. Families rebuilt. Pakistan endured, proving again that survival is woven deep into its fabric. Pakistan's geography is both its strength and its struggle. From the icy glaciers of the north to the deserts of the south, the land depends on rivers, rains, and seasons. Agriculture, the backbone of the economy, employing 40% of the population, is tied to the pulse of nature. But as the climate shifts, this balance falters. Rains grow erratic. Glaciers retreat. Droughts stretch longer. Floods strike harder. For Pakistan, geography is destiny. Yet destiny can be reshaped through knowledge, resilience, and foresight. Every disaster strikes not only at land, but at lives. Homes lost. Livelihoods broken. The psychological toll lingers long after waters dry. For the farmer who sees his field swallowed. For the mother who carries her child through waist-deep water. For the child who wakes at night to the sound of storms. And yet, within the suffering, there is resilience. Communities come together. Strangers become family. Aid arrives not only from governments, but from neighbours and friends. Each disaster reveals both the fragility of human life and the strength of human spirit. The storms may grow stronger. The floods may return. But Pakistan is not defined by disaster. It is defined by survival, by the courage to rebuild again and again. As the waters recede, a new question rises. Can a nation turn its greatest vulnerability into its greatest strength? This journey has only begun. High in the north, where the air thins and peaks pierce the sky, lie Pakistan's frozen guardians, the glaciers. They are the silent reservoirs of life, feeding the Indus River, nourishing fields and cities alike. But year after year they retreat. Each metre lost is a warning, each stream of meltwater a signal of a changing world. The Indus River, Pakistan's lifeline. From the glaciers of Gilgit-Baltistan, it flows through valleys, across Punjab's fields, into Sindh's delta. On its banks, wheat and rice grow. Millions drink from its waters. Industries run on its power. But when glaciers melt too fast, the Indus swells beyond its banks, flooding homes, drowning fields. When glaciers vanish, the river shrinks, leaving barren earth behind. Floods one season, droughts the next. Pakistan stands at the edge of a paradox, drowning in water and thirsting for it at once. But in this contradiction lies opportunity. To capture rain before it runs away. To store glacial melt before it vanishes. To share water wisely, fairly and sustainably. The glaciers may retreat, but the mountains remain. They remind us that strength endures, that endurance is possible. For Pakistan, the crown of the north is not only melting ice. It is also a call to rise, to protect, to endure. Few forces strike with the sudden violence of a cloudburst. In less than an hour, skies unleash more rain than entire weeks. Valleys become rivers, villages disappear, and lives are swept away. When cloudbursts strike, flash floods follow. In overcrowded towns and fragile valleys, torrents tear through homes and roads. Drainage collapses. Rescue struggles. Yet these floods reveal not only weakness, but the need for resilience. Heavy rains loosen the mountains. Hillsides collapse, roads vanish, and communities are cut off. But where the soil is held, where trees stand, lands remain firm. Reforestation, better land use, and community planning can turn unstable ground into secure foundations. Storms are fierce, but they teach us lessons. That we are small before nature, but not powerless. That foresight, unity, and resilience can turn every storm into a teacher, not a destroyer. When disasters strike, they do not only wash away homes. They shake economies, push families into poverty, and strain entire societies. Agriculture suffers. Prices rise. Millions face hunger. Yet even here, resilience is possible. Climate-smart agriculture, drought-resistant seeds, and innovative farming can turn vulnerability into stability. Weak infrastructure makes disasters worse, but strong infrastructure makes recovery faster. Pakistan's future lies in flood-resistant buildings, improved drainage, and resilient transport. These are not luxuries, they are lifelines. Every orbiting satellite, every forecast, every alert is a shield. With global technology and local action, Pakistan can anticipate floods, predict storms, and prepare its people. Science is not distant, it is protection. Water must be managed wisely. Super dams carefully built can store floodwaters, generate clean power, and feed millions. Alongside smaller projects, conservation, and fair distribution, they can secure the nation's lifeline for generations. At the heart of resilience are not just governments or institutions, but people. Families, villages, and communities who learn, prepare, and act together. The fight against climate change is not just about survival. It is about justice, dignity, and the right to a future. Pakistan's struggle is not isolated. 90% of global climate change is driven by emissions from the industrialized Western world. The wealth of the West was built on the very fuels now warming the planet, and yet it is the developing world. Nations like Pakistan that pays the highest price. This is not justice. True climate justice demands that those most responsible must help those most vulnerable. Financial support, technology transfer, and climate funds are not charity. They are a moral debt. As the world shifts to renewable energy and lithium batteries, another challenge emerges: mining, supply chains, and resource use. The future must be built responsibly, with sustainability, fairness, and protection of communities at its core. Innovation must not repeat the mistakes of the past. For Pakistan, water remains both danger and salvation. Building dams must be a national priority, not delayed, not politicized, but pursued with urgency. Proper planning can prevent floods, generate clean energy, and irrigate farmlands. Against melting ice, against rising floods, against fierce storms, yet equally important is discipline. No more building homes on riverbeds, no more reckless approvals. Projects driven by politics, such as those built near River Ravi, begun under Imran Khan and carried forward by the current government, have already caused devastating damage. Entire communities lost property and safety because of poor planning. Planners, approvers, and engineers who allowed unsafe riverfront construction must be held accountable. This cannot be allowed to continue. Accountability is not punishment, it is protection, a safeguard to ensure the mistakes of yesterday are not repeated tomorrow. Pakistan's story is not one of despair. It is one of resilience. Its people rise. The future is not only to be endured, it is to be shaped. And Pakistan is shaping it now.